Hello and welcome to Lilith Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Adama, and welcome to the weekly Astro report for the week of February 16th through February 22nd. So this is my weekly where I sit down, relax, and discuss with you the transits ahead and how it's affecting the collective. But if you do want to know about how your month is, by rising, sun, or moon, become a member of Lilith Astrology today. Just a little plug that we've launched horoscopes beginning of January, and they're available now. If you become a member for literally $5.99 a month, you will gain access. And there are different tiers. There are higher tiers where I do offer upcoming webinars, exclusive video content for members only, and you'll gain access to all these great things. So check out memberships below, check out the link, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you love Lilith Astrology. We can't keep this running without you guys. I sound like a PBS commercial, but it's true, it's real, and it support independent Black business because I'm running the whole thing myself. So that's that. And so now let's get into the week. So today, Sunday, Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Pisces this evening, and Mars went into Capricorn as well. So it's very interesting. Mercury in its what we call an astrology detriment, and then Mars in its exaltation in the sign of Capricorn. Mars is direct, Mercury is retrograde. And I just think it's very interesting. Excuse me, it's getting comfortable here. I just think it's very interesting because when Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, the last thing you really need to be doing is charging ahead and trying to think clearly and trying to navigate and not expecting delays, not expecting certain, things to happen that may cause confusion or fogginess. And Mars in Capricorn wants to just build, do, climb that corporate ladder, get ahead. Definitely a builder and can concretely create a foundation for themselves. People who have Mars in Capricorn are able to really do and get things done in a clear and concise way. And when you have Mars in Pisces energy and it's retrograde, things are not the clearest. And actually, we say detriment, but it can be a very beautiful energy, and this can be a very beautiful time if you use it wisely. So actually, I've also linked my Mercury retrograde tips. I did a video that just talks about things you should do, things you shouldn't do, and you can check that out below. But specifically for this time, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, that it's such a creative placement in the sense of nothing is black and white. It's completely different from Capricorn, and these are making a supportive connection. They're forming a sextile. So it'd be really interesting to see what creative ventures come out of this. Some of you may really use this as a time, and I highly suggest doing so, to really think and revisit and relook at projects you may have put to the wayside in the past, people you may not have connected with in a very long time, who could you could reconnect with again and start something or get something kind of bubbling under the surface to get off the ground after Mercury goes direct. This is a great time to enjoy music and enjoy the arts. Pisces rules Hollywood and foggy, and see, I'm even foggy right now talking with this energy because it really rules things that are not clear. It rules fantasy, it rules illusion. So now is the time to kind of enjoy all of those things. And I think meditation is a great tool during this time because you could totally receive some ideas out of nowhere, something so creative and out there that you may not have gotten in a more rigid and logical transit. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what could come out of Mercury retrograde in Pisces. But just as a rule of thumb, this is really a time to revisit, rethink, relook, taking your time, not kind of acting rashly and making certain decisions, laying low, and really putting in the self-reflective work. And you may get a call from an ex, or past friends may pop up, people you run into someone suddenly that you haven't seen in forever, and that could spark some really great reconnection. So it's not a doom and gloom time. Let's not all like freak out because Mercury retrograde. It just may sometimes cause some frustration, sometimes cause some delays, and honestly, just don't launch anything new. Just use this as a time to really use this creative Piscean energy. And now with the sun in Pisces later this week, the sun moves into Pisces as we go into the week on the 18th. With the sun in Pisces, which is also making a supportive connection with Mars and Capricorn. It's making a supportive connection with that Saturn and Pluto action that's still happening in the sign of Capricorn. So that energy is now, we're moving from Aquarius season and into Pisces season. It's now very supportive in terms of creative endeavors, in terms of also spirituality. I think really using this time to seek mindfulness. Mindfulness is just so key during Mercury retrograde, because the one thing I think a lot of astrologers say is we're like, don't fly off at the handle at people. Don't like make rash decisions that, later on you could regret what you say. And mindfulness is something, and spirituality is something that combats things like that. Because if you're walking and really trying to be mindful of how you feel, trying to be mindful of another person's perspective, of another person's view, or taking 2 seconds before flipping, you can experience a little bit of an easier Mercury retrograde. So I think this is a very Pisces time. Pisces is about things that are not completely clear. It's just like with creativity, it's not logical. It's not, sometimes it's just comes out of nowhere and you don't know why it came about or how. So just really going with the flow. Like Pisces people just are like, I'm on this river called life. I'm just going with the flow. They're, the hippie flower children of the zodiac. And they just go with the flow, and they're like mutable water. So I think trying to like harness that Pisces energy wherever you have it in your chart, wherever things are getting foggy for you, take a look at your chart and see, where do I have Pisces? Because so say you have it, like I have it in the 9th house. I'm a Cancer rising, and a little bit in the 8th. I'm a late degree. I need to really be taking a step back with what I'm putting out there into the world, and in terms of my spirituality and my messages, just taking a step back and taking some time to like rethink and relook, and rehash, and not launch anything new. Like you're not going to see anything new here on Lilith Astrology. We are launching some new episodes of the Lilith series, but that whole series is launched. So just using this time to really reflect and journaling. And if you love painting, or you love playing music, or you, if you're an actor, or even if you're not in the creative fields, doing something that you can express yourself. Everyone has some sort of creative muscle, whether they believe it or not, where they can just express themselves. And I think this will be like very healing time for you if you let it. So as we move further into the week, from Pisces season beginning and this beautiful Piscean foggy energy, Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, Mars moved into Capricorn. On Thursday, Mars will form a trine to Uranus in Taurus, and Jupiter is going to form a sextile with Neptune, which is also in the sign of Pisces. So I actually didn't mention also earlier in the video, not only do we have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, the sun in Pisces, but we have Neptune in its home sign of Pisces. So with this Jupiter sextile Pisces energy on Thursday, I think this will help expand all of this creative, free-flowing energy in a positive way. I think it's supportive. It's a supportive aspect to start off Mercury retrograde. So even though things are slowing down and you may be feeling lethargic, you may, plans may be falling through, people may be coming back, like all that has started. But I think this is a time where you could really see some expansion in terms of your creative power and maybe even your spirituality. Jupiter is a very spiritual planet, and even though Jupiter is in, constricted sign in Capricorn, the supportive aspect with Neptune in Pisces, and we have Mercury in retrograde in Pisces as well, and the Sun, that can really help support you in just taking a step back, relooking and revisiting things. I think you could see some things like, oh, I made some errors in this prior, or some annoying things may pop up, but that's only to help you build and grow and make something better, so that when we do get back into Mercury direct, you can come back better and stronger. So I definitely think using this as a time to catch any mistakes you may have made in the past, catch any loopholes, catch anything, that may not be working for you that you thought worked for you. And I think you'll have some luck and growth in doing that. And even too, with Mars trine Uranus and Taurus, some things may pop up for you on Thursday. Uranus is making some positive aspects with faster moving planets lately. And so I think a lot of you have been experiencing just some news popping in, certain things happening that, be it they be positive or not, they've triggered some life changes that put you more on the direction of your life path. So I think that's very good energy, honestly, as we start off Mercury retrograde, but not starting new things. Don't launch. So if you have a new project that gets triggered because you ran into an old friend and they're like, let's rehash this, let's revisit this, rehash it, revisit it, brainstorm, meet up for a coffee, get things going, but don't launch it until after Mercury goes direct and you guys can take a real clear look at what you're doing and make sure it's the right direction for you to go in. So as we move further into the week and we end the work week on Friday, Mars will square Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries. And so this is what a square is, a tense aspect in astrology. And this can create a little bit of tension and unrest for you. So I feel like, especially towards the end of the week, and kind of going back to my advice of mindfulness and harnessing your spirituality during this time and really thinking about the other people and their perspectives before kind of jumping ahead. This could be a day that you could be triggered by something. Someone could say something could come up, and that can cause you to exhibit some Mars qualities and just want to pop off and not listen to the other. And there could be some wounding in you that gets triggered. And so I definitely want to give advice on Friday to try to keep calm, step away from situations that get tense, and just try to relax, ride this Piscean wave, or ride this mutable water energy that's just flowing this week, and really look within and be mindful. Okay, I'm feeling triggered. I'm going to take a minute and then come back to this conversation at a later time. And that's also the same on Saturday. Mars will also square true black moon Lilith in the sign of Aries. So we have Mars squaring true black moon Lilith and Chiron, the wounded healer, and similar underdog stories. I'll link below my Chiron through the houses and my Lilith through the signs and houses videos, so you can see there's a little bit of juxtaposition between these two archetypes and how they got triggered by something and made a decision, or they had to go through pain and suffering to then teach others and find their own personal power. So I think with Mars triggering these placements wherever you have this in your chart, you can feel agitated and feel a little unrest. And Mercury retrograde in Pisces can cause you to then not feel clear in what you're saying, or not think clearly before you say something or communicate something. Or if you do decide to make a commitment, if you do decide to release something over the weekend, it could just not work the way that you've wanted to. So as we wrap up the week, and I'll talk more about the new moon in Pisces that's going to be happening on Sunday. I'll talk to you about it as it's happening on the next weekly Astro report. But with all of those things, this is a week to just, all right, time for me to just ride the wave, ride that mutable water energy, look within, be mindful, harness my spirituality, harness my inner creativity, and just be, and really look and relook at things you may have done in the past to see how you could improve them, and relook at old people and relationships and make peace with those things. So that's my advice for this time and starting off the retrograde season. Not a time to be afraid. It's okay. We'll all get through it together. I would love to hear about how Mercury retrograde has kicked off for you in the comments below. And if you love this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and support Black business. Check out our memberships below. And I hope you all have a fabulous start to the week. Enjoy it, and I will see you here next week.